a long-delayed win for U.S. President Joe Biden and his hugely expensive plans to regenerate America. In the last hour, the House of Representatives has passed a $1 trillion infrastructure bill directing funding into programs including road and bridge building. But an even bigger package, the Build Back Better Act, covering welfare and environmental spending, remains stalled by infighting. Now, Biden cancelled a weekend trip in an attempt to unite progressives and moderates in his divided Democratic Party. Now, we will go on the line to our correspondent, Stephen Simons, who is joining us from Washington. Stephen, this plan got through very late on a Friday evening. How did House Speaker Nancy Pelosi secure the numbers after what was a day of Democratic infighting?
Yeah, you nailed it. That wasn't as it was planned. The day began actually good, with good numbers from the job report, 4.6% unemployment rate, the lowest yet, and 530,000 jobs created in October. So that was good news for the White House and for the Dems, for the Democrats in Congress, but then the Democrats managed to squander it all away, and it took Nancy Pelosi and President Biden in the evening hours and into the night hours to intervene and to really negotiate again to make at least this package, this $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill, go through the House with 22-8 votes for and 206 against it. By the way, 13 Republicans voted with the majority of Democrats, and about 6 Democrats voted against it. So that doesn't look good for the Democrats, but the good news here is for Democrats, for President Biden and the White House, is that this package at least went through so far.
Okay, and we are just following those live pictures of the proceedings in Congress there. As this vote has just gone through. Back to you, Stefan. How much of a victory is this for President Joe Biden, who was working the numbers very late on Friday night in Washington?
Well, it's huge, actually. It's monumental, even if it's just half of what his economic initiatives are. Remember, there's a $1.75 trillion social spending bill still, as you mentioned, on the table, not negotiated, not decided on. And there's where all the climate change money is. There's where social initiatives are anchored. But no doubt, this is just the infrastructure bill now through against all the expectations during the course of the day, when we all had, and that means all journalists and observers here in the U.S., in the Capitol in Washington, had given up on the Democrats being able to pass this. This is a major success for Mr. Biden, and he will have that bill on his desk tomorrow and is expected to sign it.
Stefan, you mentioned that this is the infrastructure bill, but what about the welfare and climate package, the so-called Build Back Better Act?
Right, that's still in negotiations. That's $1.75 trillion, which are needed for those programs. As you know, there's those programs like lower taxes for lower income people who have lower incomes, family leave, but also money which is spent on clean energy, on climate change, or to prevent climate change from even getting worse here in the United States and everywhere else. So this is still needed. This is still negotiated. And where? In the Senate. This bill, which passed now the House, is agreed again already in the Senate. That was a bipartisan bill, so it can go to the president and he can sign it. But the infrastructure, the social spending bill, which is still outstanding, there is one or two Democratic senators. One is fairly famous now here in the U.S., and that's Senator Manchin from West Virginia. That has still to be negotiated. So this is ongoing, and this is not a done deal. This could take another few weeks.
Okay. Stephen Simons in Washington, thank you. And as we take one more look at those live pictures coming through from Congress.